NCAA March Madness is upon us. Usually, this is a segment where we do NCAA totals, but I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple picks out there for these early games that are coming up tomorrow and the day after that. We're going to take a look at Kansas State versus Wake Forest and USC taking on Providence. Some pretty interesting matchups. Oddsmakers have the lines really tight, but we're going to go ahead and throw out a couple picks there. Usually, we do NCAA picks when we do our live segment throughout the week, which is a lot of fun that I'll talk about in just a second here. So no totals for this segment, although we've had a really good season so far. The last few days on totals was pretty poor. So hopefully we'll bounce back. We're going to get back to the totals as soon as we get the lines out. But right now they're just not out. They're out for the numbers. So we're going to go ahead and do what we do, and that's break down some games. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at these games. Don't forget, check out our live segment, NBA Live, that goes on at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. So you got to check that one out. That one's on a daily basis, well, Sunday through Thursday. A lot of fun. You really need to tune in and check that out and join that conversation. Share that video. Again, also, I don't want to forget YouTube channel, Facebook page, Sportsbook Review. All the sign-up bonuses are there and the blacklist and things like that. So you got to check that out. So let's go ahead and let's start digging into some March Madness. Gosh, it's been a really fun season. Totals have been great. We're going to end up with a profitable season on totals pretty much no matter what we do throughout March Madness. We'd have to lose basically every game, and that's not going to happen. Knock on wood real quick. But it's been a really profitable season so far for NCAA totals, despite the fact we were pretty bad the last few days. So again, though, this is where we're going to look at some picks. We're not going to look at totals for these matchups, and we'll get back to some totals once we get some numbers up by the sports book. But I kind of wanted to do a pick video anyways because it is March Madness and it's a lot of fun. All right, so let's take a look at the first one here. We got Wake Forest versus Kansas State. Again, this is going on tomorrow, not today when this video is going to be put out. Right now it's at a pick. I like Wake Forest. I really like what Danny Manning has done with that team. I really like Bruce Weber. I like everything he's done at Kansas State. They can be really scrappy at times. They play good defense, but the matchup, I like Wake Forest for them to push just a little bit of tempo. And although Kansas State's been pretty good at that, sometimes like a team against, like when they played Oklahoma State, well, the most recent time they played Oklahoma State, they lost. The time before that, they won. They beat them pretty well. Wake Forest doesn't push that type of pace, but they're pretty good on both sides of the ball. They can score. I think the ACC is tougher than the Big 12. All due respect, Big 12's a no joke league at all. But I think Wake Forest gets it done. Right now, it's a pick. I like them to win this game. I love what Danny Manning has done with that program. Let's break down some statistics here. So right now, we got Wake Forest averaging 82.7 points per game. They can really score. That's 15th in the country. Now, Kansas State's no joke on the defensive end. They're allowing just 66.9 points per game. But before I even dig into more stats here, what I kind of like is the fact that Wake Forest has played, some grind out game against some grind out teams like, they handled Miami, I thought, really well, which I think Miami reminds me a little bit of Kansas State as far as their statistics and just the way they run, the way they run their offense, how great they play on the defensive end. Kansas State's no joke. They could win this game. I like Wake Forest. I mean, I would not be shocked at all to see Kansas State win this. But again, I just like the matchups with Wake Forest. I mean, right now they're shooting over 47% from the floor. The only issue for me, I think, even some more offensive, they're like 18th in the country in shooting efficiency. I mean, they could score. They move the ball really well. Kansas State hasn't seen a team like Wake Forest in so much as just the type of offense that they run and things like that. So it's going to be kind of fresh, kind of new, kind of some tough, a tough way to go about. And that's what the tournament's all about, is finding matchups and be able to contain other teams, from putting the ball in the hoop. But I think Kansas State's going to struggle a little bit, despite the fact they have some really good defensive stats themselves. Right now, Kansas State, they're allowing opponents to shoot just 42.5% from the floor. However, the Big 12, I do not believe, is as tough of a scoring conference as the ACC. I think it's pretty easy to say that. And one of the main points of contention tonight that I think Kansas State's going to struggle is they have not defended from beyond the arc very well, and Wake Forest can really shoot it. They're shooting 38.7% from distance. Kansas State's one of the worst teams in the country, allowing opponents to shoot over 38%. That ranks outside the top 300 teams. So that's going to be a point of contention. If Wake Forest knocks down their threes like they normally do, I think that's going to probably get them over the hump to go ahead and win this game. All due respect to Kansas State, good team, good defensive numbers. Offensively, they struggle a little bit. They're pretty efficient. They rank in the top 100 in efficiency. They go at a really slow pace. Again, I think Wake Forest, though, is going to be able to get up and down just enough, as Kansas State has shown the propensity to do that against some teams in the Big 12. So, despite also, I did want to mention Wake's defensive numbers are not that great statistically. They're allowing opponents to shoot about 45% from the floor. So that's not, ideal. At the end of the day, though, when all's said and done, I believe Wake Forest does win this game. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take them for 1 unit in what's going to be a great matchup. All right, and the next game we got is USC and Providence. Let me change something here real quick. This is going to be a good one, too. I'm excited for this. I like Andy Enfield and the Trojans. I think they win this game. Right now, they're favored by 1. Providence is no joke. That's an underrated team, actually. But that being said, I really like this USC squad. They're a little bit thin as far as their bench is concerned, but they played in a really tough Pac-12. Not to say the Big East is not tough. Again, this is my opinion, and I just like USC. I really like Andy Enfield. I love the way Providence, at least some of the things they do really well, like they defend from beyond the arc really well. Some other numbers I like about them, they're decently efficient, but I think USC is just a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to back the Trojans in this spot. They're averaging 78.7 points per game. And what's surprising to me is USC, they're allowing 73.2 points per game, but that's a really tough Pac-12 league as far as scoring is concerned, outside of teams that go really slow like Cal. I mean, those teams can score. Oregon's can score. Arizona can score. You got to play UCLA twice. It's one of the highest scoring teams in NCAA hoops. So that's not really a bad number, but statistically, they're allowing some pretty good percentages, allowing opponents to shoot just 43%. Again, we're talking about USC, and also opponents to shoot 46.8% on their 2-point shots. They're not great at defending from beyond the arc, but Providence doesn't shoot a lot of 3-pointers, averaging just under 20 per game. USC, they're a little bit more efficient. I think defensively they match up pretty evenly. So at the end, I like the Trojans in this spot. I mean, there's some other things to like about them. They shoot the 3 decently well. Providence, they defend the 3 decently well. USC is a little bit better in their efficiency and their effective field goal percentage, and they do like to push tempo, quite a bit more than that Providence team. But I think that's also due to the league they play in. The teams get more up tempo in the Pac-12 than the Big East. That's just been the trend this year. So at the end, again, like that Wake Forest Kansas State game, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to back USC. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that like Providence. Personally, I think USC gets it done, so I'm going to go ahead and back them -1. A lot of other statistics. I mean, I could talk about probably tomorrow in our NBA Live segment. We'll talk about some games. I don't want to talk about all at once, otherwise we'll be talking for hours. And I could go on on this game for a long time as well, but ultimately, I think USC is just a little bit better in Providence. From what I've seen this year, they're a little bit better offensively as far as their efficiency ratings. And on the defensive side, their statistics are pretty even to Providence, but I think they faced a much tougher scoring league in the Pac-12. Not much tougher, a little bit tougher scoring league in the Pac-12 than compared to the Big East. But, Big East is fantastic. Big East is great. Big 12 is great. Pac-12 is great. ACC is great. There's a lot of really, good teams this year. It's going to be interesting to see who wins it all. That's it. I'll stop right there. So again, just a quick recap. I like Wake Forest to get it done over Kansas State. Again, that's going to be tomorrow. Then the day after that, for my picks at least, I like a USC -1 over Providence. I'll talk more about totals. Maybe not on either these games or the games that are going on Thursday. We'll have a segment every day. I will continue that throughout March Madness. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page. Tune in to our NBA Live segment as well, 5 o'clock Eastern. And I wish you luck on your picks today.
We hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, don't miss out on the best basketball betting content available on YouTube. Click our logo button on the bottom left to subscribe. And as always, guys, give us a like and drop your comments below because we want to hear from you. Visit our website to take advantage of all our free products.